to at least get that done.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, you know, we're all familiar with, you know, the Learning Channel, the Baby Story, and Bringing Home Baby, and a lot of other birthing shows that are on, mostly the Learning Channel, Bravo, what have you. What would you say is your particular flavor with what you offer, maybe versus some of the...
Very different.
Yes.
Yeah.
Could you kind of share with us?
First of all, everything I film is handheld. I don't bring in lighting. I don't use a tripod. I don't use an extended microphone on the camera. It's very guerrilla style. My camera is about that big. The most important thing is to be very unobtrusive, to not invade the space, and not to let the parents, especially the mom, feel like she's being filmed. So I know that on these TV shows, because of because it's a production and they need to have a certain quality of look or whatnot, there's a sound person, there's lighting, there's big cameras. I try to stay away from that. It's really important for me, and I know for the couples too, is to really keep it organic and really keep it low-key. And I'll work with the light there is. I mean, I filmed births with very, very dim light. My old camera had night vision, so I use that sometimes. Now I don't use that because it's not HD, the one that I have, but I could use, my camera has good low light capability. And I work with what I have. I work around the crew, if it's the medical crew at the hospital or whether it's a midwife doula at home. I don't direct anything. It's all whatever's happening is what I'm capturing.
So you're like a fly on the wall?
Kind of. Big fly.
A big fly.
Yeah. Yeah.
A human fly.
A butterfly on the wall.
A butterfly, that's a nicer image, I think, a butterfly on the wall.
Yeah.
And have you had any resistance if you have had to go to a hospital or something like that?
You know, I usually make sure that the parents will clear with their doctors that they're having their birth filmed, because it would be a great shame to come there and suddenly know you can't do that. So I've always been allowed to film the births. However, a couple of the births that did end up in C-sections, I wasn't permitted to film the C-sections. Yours was the first C-section that I was allowed to film, that's great thanks to your midwife.
Yes,
she was
I have an amazing,
truly instrumental in letting that happen.
And in fact, we shall be interviewing my midwife in another of the video blogs that you're going to be able to see. That's going to be coming soon. And yes, it was the first time that happened, and it was just unbelievable, because we were originally going to have a water birth in a gorgeous birthing centre, and you know, plans changed, and Jodie was able to come into the OR and be able to be there with us.
Yeah, so I'm very grateful for that. And then since then I filmed another C-section at another hospital, so I think either there's certain hospitals that allow and some don't, or maybe they're just easing into letting me do it. But
Yeah,
I have not really received resistance. They usually let me film.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
And is there anything you would like to share about what you do, or how you feel about what you do?
I feel really blessed. I mean, I think it's one of the greatest jobs in the world. I mean, seeing a human being taking their first breath and being in this world outside of their mother's womb for the first time is really magical. And what I've noticed as a filmmaker, I'm not only witnessing a baby being born, I'm witnessing a mom being born, I'm witnessing a father being born. Some of the things that people say could be anything from hysterically funny to very emotional. You know, they just sometimes share their thoughts when the process is going on. It's a huge learning experience for me. And it's being present at a magical moment every single time. It's really beautiful.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. And what was your other question?
How do you feel about it? I think you answered that.
And if I wanted to say anything else.
Yeah.
I think just one thing maybe to clarify, when people find out what I do, I get all kinds of reactions. With women, it's usually like, wow, wow, you could even have that done. It's more of amazement.
Yeah.
I'd hate to repeat what men's reactions are usually, but that does vary. Men go in a very different angle on it.
Sure.
And what I could say is it's nothing like what you see on television. It's not the kind of way you see births in movies or portrayed in TV series. It's really what happens, and it's really not graphic, and it's not, can I say the word?
Absolutely.
It's not about the vagina. It's about before, during, and after. It's about the interactions between the birthing parents. It's about the first breath, the first breastfeeding, the first time the father brings the baby to the mother, the first time the baby latches on. There's so much that unfolds before the actual coming out into the world. So the birth film tells that whole story in really in just 15 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes. And most of my work actually, besides being on call like a doula or a doctor or a midwife, most of my work does go into the editing. Because then you're creating an art piece out of all this raw footage you
Absolutely.
have. And I want to make something that parents will want to see again and again. If there's some moments that are stressful, or that the mother is suffering any kind of pain or distress or sadness, whatever it is, she's not going to want to see that over and over and over again. So I wouldn't put that in the film, you know. And it'll be on the raw footage if she ever does desire to see it. But I want to make something that she can also share with her friends, with her family.
And if I could also share something about that. When we watched our footage, what was so extraordinary was to see the reaction, not just of obviously, you know, my husband and myself and the baby, but to see the reaction of my mom.
Her reaction at the hospital was amazing.
It was so incredible. And to see the joy that she had was really something that I wouldn't ever want to not have there. It was seeing the generations coming down really to this moment where now you are bringing the next generation in, and just to see her joy and her love, and she was completely naked almost with emotion. You know, and then to see my midwife and my doula, and to see friends, and to see Jodie's reaction too, which was just so special. And she captured all the little moments of Anastasia in those first moments of life. It was breathtaking, and I wanted to watch it over and over and over again, and to see Anastasia, who's a year old, watching herself being born. It's amazing. She just stunned, just kind of like looking, and knowing that she will grow up with this most sacred event. So beautiful. And yes, not everybody's birth goes exactly the way they planned it. However, it's still a special moment no matter what way the baby comes out.
Yeah, and just what you said, Anastasia, watching it, I know from the mothers and families that have had me film their birth, when they do show it to their child for the first time, they're usually a little older, maybe 3 years old,
right.
It becomes their favorite film.
Yeah, that's what I've heard too.
And they want to see it again and again and again, and they start recognizing themselves outside of themselves. They recognize themselves as another
person. Yeah, it's extraordinary.
It's really cute.
So, with this amazing information, I mean, how do we contact you? How can we let our audience know?
The easiest way is just go to my website, www.mybirthmovie.com.
And would you travel to?
I will travel within the greater Los Angeles area, because if it's too far, I wouldn't make it on time, unless, you know, some very wealthy person flies me on their private jet to get there in time.
Absolutely.
But theoretically, in the greater Los Angeles area, I've done one birth. Yours was Whittier, right? Mm-hmm. So that was probably the furthest out that I've gone for a birth. There's samples, short samples and edited samples on my website. There's
beautiful
my promo clip there and my contact information. And with any questions, don't hesitate to let me know.
And so they can go to say your website one more time.
mybirthmovie.com.
And also just to let you know that if you go to sites we love on our website, BebeZodiac.com, you'll be able to see Jodie's website on there too. So thank you, Jodie. Thank you so much. You're such a special friend and such a beautiful filmmaker. And for anyone who's interested, please contact Jodie. She will answer your questions, and she also helps the mother. I've heard she helps the mother too. She's done that. She's so gentle and kind and such a gorgeous spirit. So,
and good luck to all of you.
Yes, everyone out there, who wants to have a baby, or is having a baby, or going to have another one, please come back and join us again. We've got lots going on and we really look forward to seeing you again. So thank you. This is Mama's Blogs and we will see you next time. Take care. Bye.
Bye.